Okay. Hey everybody, what's up? I'm Emerson, and this is my partner.
Blue.
Yes. And we decided to do a video because we've been getting asked on our Instagrams about different questions to help our community and about relationships. We're keeping that. About
Yes!
being...
Okay. Alright.
Serious. We're keeping that. About being trans and a trans dad, and being a non-binary mom. And yeah, so we wrote some of the questions down on these papers. We're gonna go through them and answer them. And hopefully we'll be able to answer more questions some other time.
Yeah.
Cool. Do you want to go first or do you want me to?
Yes. Into the sea. Oh, God.
This is going to be an occurring thing, so just kind of get used to it.
Alright, how did you two meet?
You undo that?
You go for it.
Well, we met on the beautiful Instagram. Blue, what'd you do? DM'd me off of a
One
story
of your stories.
where I was like jamming out to some music or something.
Mm-hmm.
And she told me that I was stunning, and I received it, and I looked at her, and I was like, oh yeah, I was like, likewise. So we talked on the phone, like, all night long, because she works nights, and I can never sleep, so we just talked all night long for a couple of days. And then, like, 4 days later, I was like, you know what, whatever, I'm gonna have to go meet her, so... We met, and...
I just looked at it as 156.
5'6" is my thing.
Mm-hmm.
We met, and after that, it's just hooked from then. But it did take 6 months before I asked Blue to be my partner. But we were pretty much together from the day we met.
It was like an every weekend thing, because he was out in San Francisco, Oakland, and I'm here in Redding. And it was in about 5-6 months when you moved.
Mm-hmm.
When you moved in.
And here we are.
And here we are. Alright, next question.
How do you deal with mood swings? Well, we both have mood swings all the time. I think every human has mood swings. Being trans, you have mood swings due to the hormone levels and stuff. So mood swings come and go in different waves depending on when you need your shot. So when it's closer to when you need your shot, your mood kind of dips dramatically. You're really irritable, super defensive and angry.
It's really like similar just to PMSing, but it's a lot more like physical.
Mm-hmm. Like in the body.
Yeah.
Your emotions register more physically in your body. So when I'm like really sad or really angry, it manifests in my body a lot more than before.
So the way that we have found is the best way for him to deal with it is, well, one is working out or any physical activity. Releasing really helps, as well as writing and arts. Things that are your hobbies, like things that really get your mind going, just to focus on.
And a lot of love.
A lot of patience on my part.
Oh my gosh,
a lot of
so much patience.
A lot of nature, being outside, just reconnecting, and really getting down to the basics and the simple
and
things
being
of
able
life.
to separate yourself in the moment for that person, and not taking it all personally and stuff, and being able to just be there for the person, and not like getting wrapped up in how would you say that, where like you always separate yourself from like the issue and you're like, okay, I'm just gonna be there for you.
Yeah, well, it's because I think that one of the most important things in any relationship is, well, in a romantic relationship, is when you have to have a really good base, a good friendship. And that's what's so great with Em and I, is that we are able to step outside of the romantic part of our relationship and just be that friend when we're having like a moment where that romantic part is maybe like kind of on rocks, or we're like arguing, or like something's up and we had a miscommunication. It helps when we step outside, and really all it is doing is you're just putting yourself in their shoes and listening to their story and where they're coming from, and kind of shutting that side of you off for a moment, and then you get back out and then you can kind of put it all together, and you'll find that it's usually a very simple problem, and it is just like, I need to be reminded that, oh shit, he has he has, you know, he's due for his shot tomorrow, so it makes sense that he's going to be a little more irritated today, so I can be like mindful of that, and I can remind him, babe, remember, you take your shot tomorrow, and he'll be like, oh, yeah, dang, okay, I'm sorry. And it's really that simple, but you have to communicate it through, because in the beginning it wasn't that simple.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't.
Totally. And on that note,
how do I discuss my own comfort with my partner's transition in a supportive way? Is that for me?
Well, first of all, you, just like what you were just saying, you have to have a base of like being friends. So no matter what, you always have to put yourself aside and just listen to what your partner is going through during their transition, as well as what the other person may be discovering for themselves during that transition also. Because when you transition, so does your partner in a whole bunch of different ways. And I think that it opens up their perspective on their own identity a lot. And many people don't realize that that happens for the partner of whoever is transitioning.
Yeah, it really does. Like, yeah, well, for me, I was just identifying as a queer girl when I met M, and I was learning more about myself and like experimenting with my hair, and I was cutting it, dyeing different ways, and you know, buying guys clothes and like wearing guys shirts and trying jeans, and like I was in a very experimental phase for myself. And so when I met him and I met and learned about his whole path and everything that he's going through, and I like started realizing, oh, there's some things that I really do identify with and I like and enjoy. And so yes, it is his transition, but I have hopped on board his transition, and like our family and your friends and people around you do transition in some ways with you. Yeah. And so it's really important to be open and to communicate.
Right, and we've had really hard discussions and things like that, and how Blue's identity has also shifted my experience of understanding how society has placed upon me even a need to be this masculine always and male part of the relationship, when that like isn't really how it needs to or should be. You know, like everybody is every part of the relationship when you're in it, as it should be. You know, it shouldn't be like, oh, you're like the guy, so you do this, this, and this, and you're the girl, and you do this, this, and this, and there's no like in between, because that isn't even true anywhere. You know, like,
it's really not.
So what we've learned, and what I've learned at least, is like how to open myself up to also being open to what Blue experiences through my transition also. And like we said, a basis of being friends is like really helpful, because we can just be like, hey, I need to talk to you like a homie right now, so can you listen to this? And it's easier that way to hear uncomfortable news, or hear like someone feeling uncomfortable about something, because you're just like friends and you're like, you know what, it's not that big a deal, bro. And you're like, oh my god, I don't know, it's really nice. Just set up a foundation and always feel like you can be honest, even if it's like uncomfortable to talk about, because you get out of it like so much more and you're so much closer.
And we'll definitely do another video about specifically talking about me sort of coming out to M as non-binary, because that is really what happened within our relationship. And it was a really interesting time. We learned a lot about each other, and it's been really cool now that where we are, it's been we've just grown so much. So we definitely will do another video to explain that whole process as well.
Cool. Is my turn?
Yeah.
How did you tell Claire that you are trans?
Oh, it's my favorite. Can I say the beginning?
Sure.
Okay, so
And Claire's 6.
yeah.
Just so you know.
When we first met, it's just Emerson. Sorry, it's just Emerson, and I think it was how long?
Until we told her.
Yeah.
4 or 5 months.
It was before you were moving in, because we're like we want to be
before I moved in. We had to tell her
because with him wearing like his binder, and you weren't really wearing tape
that much then.
No, not that much. So with him wearing like a binder, we wanted it. She needed to understand what
body I was gonna be in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Because all she knew me as was just this boy, you know. So. I mean, I was going to be taking a shower. Not that she would see me, but, like, I just wanted to feel comfortable in my house and knowing that, and just knowing that my child is going to know that I'm trans. You know, like, that was really important for us as parents to want that. Like, 100% our kids are going to be knowing about trans and knowing that their daddy is, you know, that's important.
Yeah, so what I did first was she knew that mommy liked girls and guys, so that was one area, and then I went in to talk about, oh, there's gay guys, and there's lesbians, and there's people that, you know, are in the middle, and then I started explaining to her about trans people, and we watched there was a Netflix thing that talks about trans kids, actually, and then it talks about, like, it was really informative, but really cool, and so I watched that with her. And so she, like, kind of opened up a discussion afterwards, and so we talked about it. And then,
well, then I think I came home that night, or I don't know.
It was after we had watched it.
And we sat her down, and I was like, oh, so I just want to talk to you about something.
One quick thing, after the video, she's like, it'd be really cool if I can meet a trans person.
Well, so when she had told me that she had said that, I was like, okay, cool, like, this will be kind of okay, you know. I have no idea. I've never come out to a 6-year-old, or she was 5 at that point, I think. Was she 5?
I think she just turned 6.
Okay,
yeah,
so anyway, just in general, I never
went
to a kid before. So I said, you remember that movie that mommy had showed you about trans people? And she said, yeah. And I was like, what do you think about it? She's like, oh, it's interesting, you know. And I was like, well, we wanted to show you that video because not only is it, like, important that you know that, you know, there are trans people, but also because that, I think there was, like, a little kid named George or something in the video, and I was like, you know, like, George, like, that's, like, me, like, I'm, like, George, you know. And she just, like, got really, like, red and, like, weird, you know, for a second. She was like, what? And I was like, yeah, like, I was born in a girl's body. Like, I was a little girl before, and now I'm a boy. And she, like, got red, and she's like, really? And I said, like, yeah, like, when I was little, or in my mommy's belly, they actually told my mommy that I was going to be a boy, but when I came out, I was a girl, and everyone was so happy and stuff. But growing up, I knew that I was a boy inside, and I told my mom, and I told people, like, no, I'm a boy, but no one really believed me until I got older, and I ended up going to a doctor and telling him that I knew I was a boy, and he believed me. So he gave me medicine called tea that I take in a shot, and that medicine turned me into a boy and helps me stay a boy. And she was just like, I think she said something like, well, you're always a boy to me or something, and I'll always love you. And she gave me a hug.
And she wanted to go to school and tell her friends.
She didn't tell my friends.
We're like, well, see, that's like something.
We're like, we don't know. I mean, you could if you want. But that was like it was a really cool experience. And ever since then,
she has been so supportive, so loving.
Even when I don't have tape on or anything, she tells me that, like, my body looks like a boy, or that I have a boy's chest and stuff, and I'm so handsome. And you know, it's really shown me that the most simple thing is to just be honest about yourself and to tell people who you are and be very strong about that and just say, you know, this is who you are and this is who I am, and people should accept you just like a little kid would, you know. just like, oh wow, that's awesome, and I love you no matter what, and who you are is who you say you are. Like, you're a boy, and that's what I see and stuff. And it's always been and has been really nice with Claire, in that regard about the trans stuff. We're really lucky. So yeah, that's how we told her, and she's all about it. So it's awesome. You do.
How do you deal with your dysphoria in your relationship?
Well, dysphoria comes up quite often, but for both of us, I think everybody experiences some level of dysphoria, whether you are identifying as anything. It's like, honestly, everybody has something.
It's because society has placed these roles and these frames and these boxes we need to fit in, and nobody fits the molds or the boxes because they're unrealistic expectations of us.
But in terms of like trans dysphoria, a lot of people experience things like with their chest or, you know, down there or something. But with me, well, taping really helps. I tape with KT tape. That has helped with my chest, like, ridiculously, in terms of just wearing clothing and being outside and stuff. My partner helps me with both aspects of any type of dysphoria. She's really affirming in terms of, like, my body and how I see it, and even how I don't see it in terms of things like, you know, Blue is really expressive and vocal and really affectionate, and that has helped me with dysphoria, like, more than anything. So in terms of someone being in a relationship with someone who may be experiencing dysphoria, I think just love is like a really huge cure. You know, just telling your partner how much you see them,
and just trying, like, whatever it is. If it's like the top, you know, then just finding, okay, well, we're gonna tape, or we're gonna bind, or let's find a shirt that's looser, or let's just, oh, you know, you don't like that shirt, cool, let's just put that shirt away. We're not gonna look at it for a while, because there has been a time where, like, there was a shirt that he wanted to wear, but, like, it did not lay the way he liked, and it was really just, he just very upset. And so I was just like, look, take the shirt off. It's okay, babe. Don't worry about it. But, like, sometimes we as partners can step in, and when they're having this crisis of dysphoria, and kind of be like, just love on them, remove whatever it is, redirect. Like, it can be as simple as that. Totally. And it can change the situation from you having this whole it can be a meltdown. Yeah. But it's similar to me, too. Like, he can say the same thing. You know, I can be, if I'm having a weird day, same thing.
Yeah, just be supportive and give love, you know. That's what that person always will just need, because inside their mind, they're really just experiencing, like, their self going against them, you know. And sometimes you do need just, like, an outside source to be like, whoa, like, it's not that bad, you know, and just give so much love that that voice is kind of...
It's silenced.
Totally.
It's really silenced. Yeah.
Alright, this is the last one. Do you want to have more kids? That would be the last one.
1, 2, 3. Yes.
You're so cute. Totally. That is definitely in the plans for us.
Are you getting red?
Yeah, I am. I love Blue. I think she's the greatest mother, and we would be crazy not to bring more kids into this world and
raise more beautiful, loving, accepting, kind,
empathetic, and
babies.
Yeah.
Well, just one more.
Probably just one more, but you never know.
You never know
what the universe can provide. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you guys have any other questions, we would love to do another video about relationships or parenting, trans, non-binary, whatever, anything that you guys have. You can comment this video or just hit us up on Instagram, and we'll put our handles on the bio section. Thank you guys so much again, and we'll see you guys later.
Bye.